Tried and failed, I tried and failed, oh, how I tried and how I failed when I was down.
Well, good morning, my friends. Your old pal Jordan the Lion. How you doing today? It's a beautiful day here in Hollywood, California. What do you do on a beautiful day but you take your best buddy out to run his legs? So we're gonna head off to the little park and let Jaw go crazy. Daze with Jordan the Lion begins now. The Hollywood Tower. It is a windy one out here, I'll say that. It's beautiful, but it's windy. That's gonna be an awesome Kaya Fest. Look at that, it's pretty much like all the Marleys. I'm not sure if I'll go to that or not. I don't know if I can handle festival atmosphere anymore. Maybe Reggae on the Mountain, because that's like a smaller style festival, and they have a great lineup this year. They're having Toots and the Mai Tals. Well, we're here, and I already see he's got a buddy here. A couple of them. All right, well, we're here. This is his favorite part of the day, so kind of makes it my favorite part of the day too. Especially when he's got little buddies here and not the big ones that are going crazy. Alright, well today I'm going to try and mail out all my Patreon stuff that I owe everyone for the month. But I'm like 4 postcards short. I didn't realize I had so many postcards to send out this month, so we're going to swing by, see if we can find like 4 cool ones on the boulevard. And then I'm going to take Jaw home, and then I have a great vlog planned for today. We're going to go see Marvin's Room. Marvin's Room was once called the West Coast Studio 54, and it was owned by a very famous soul singer. Daze with Jordan the Lion begins now. Like I said, he's always got that first 15-20 minutes where he's got to sniff the grounds and kind of makes the other dogs work for it. What are you up to? Huh? What are you up to? You saw me stand up and you went crazy. They're having fun, just in a more peaceful way. Not as much chasing, more walking around together in groups and sniffing. So in 1975, shortly after signing a great deal with Motown, Marvin Gaye invested his money into this studio. And it was basically like an apartment-style building that Marvin turned into a recording studio, a crash pad, a party pad, and they said at any given time, some of his parties you might see Diana Ross or even Muhammad Ali hanging out at these parties. And it was at this studio that he actually recorded my favorite Marvin Gaye album, Hear My Dear. So while we're over there, I'm going to tell you how I came to discover Hear My Dear, what the weird coincidence was, and it's just a great album. It's what he referred to as his divorce album when he was divorcing Berry Gordy's daughter. Why are you on the table? Well, all the dogs left, didn't they? Were you just sitting here squawking at me? Why were you squawking at me? Joster. Alright, we're off to Hollywood Boulevard. I like that Pacific Coast Highway patch there, that's pretty cool. Alright, we got a few postcards. Found some really good ones actually. Are those Macho Man sunglasses? Alright, let's go drop Jaw off and then we're gonna come back down here. I'll take you guys down to Sunset and show you the studio. Uh-oh, something's going on. Fire truck just showed up with the engine blasting. Well, I don't know what's going on, but it looks like they're going to be going down to the metro train. Alright, I have a ton of mail going out today to countries all over the world, so, but where we're going today for our vlog is like 2 blocks away from here. Right over here. Alright, let's do this. Alright, no line. Alright, we are done. Virtually no wait. Well, here we are. Here, my dear, we are. Right here on Sunset Boulevard. This building used to be the studio of Marvin Gaye. In fact, it was called Marvin Gaye Recording Studios. And then Marvin changed it to being called Marvin's Room. Now, like I said, he had this studio right after he renegotiated his contract with Motown, opened it up in 1975, and then basically as the IRS started coming after him and he was going bankrupt, they foreclosed on this building, and he lost it in 1979. Now, he recorded like his, he did a disco album that didn't come out as a disco album. They reworked it later and released it. It was called In Our Lifetime. But he recorded that here. He recorded the Hear My Dear album and Got to Give It In, recorded here. Now, here's how I got into Hear My Dear. Was my old apartment building, all of a sudden my upstairs neighbor came down. He was talking to me. I've mentioned him on here before. If you saw my vlog on Oscar Wilde, he was the friend that gave me the Oscar Wilde book. He came down, we were just talking, and he was going through a breakup, and he goes, "You know what, Jordan, you know what's getting me through this is I'm listening to Marvin Gaye's breakup album, Hear My Dear." And I go, "Really? What's that?" I said, "I never heard that." And he goes, "Oh man, you gotta hear it." So he brought it down to me. He actually like burned me a copy and brought it over to me that night. And I just didn't put it in my CD player, didn't think anything of it. And then the next day I went to work, and at the time I worked at Jerry's Famous Deli in Beverly Hills as a delivery driver. And one of our common customers, and I mean common like every day or at least 5 days a week, was the singer, the soul singer Johnny Gill. So one day I'm over at Johnny Gill's house and he's signing his bill and everything, and he has a guitar laid out in his apartment, and we start talking, and I said, "So what are you up to these days?" And he said, "Oh, I'm getting ready to go on tour, so I'm listening to a lot of music just to like get me in the zone, you know." And I said, "What are you listening to?" And he said, "I'm listening to a lot of Marvin Gaye, Hear My Dear, and Teddy Pendergrass." And I go, "Really?" I said, "That's crazy you said Hear My Dear, because my neighbor just gave it to me." And he goes, "Go home and listen to that, man." He said, "You can feel the pain in his heart in that one." And I've been obsessed with that record ever since. And it's a great one. The title track alone, Hear My Dear, that was, I mean, that alone is worth getting the album for. So this building actually sat unused for a few years, and then another recording studio took it over called El Dorado Recording, and they recorded Alice in Chains here. And they didn't even know that this used to be Marvin Gaye's recording studio, what was called Marvin's Room. And then eventually they ended up moving out of here, and another business owner bought the building, turned it into a recording studio, and since El Dorado's been gone, they moved up to Burbank. This recording studio has had Michael Jackson, Prince, Mariah Carey, Luther Vandross. They've all recorded in this building, the historic Marvin Gaye building. Now, would you like to know what it's called now? What the recording studio is called now? It's back to being called what it was called when Marvin owned it. It's back to being called Marvin's Room. And like I said, this was a place that not only did he record, but he basically turned into what was called the Studio 54 of the West. He had a little penthouse in here. It was just basically a party den. I think in the end, really, Marvin just partied it all away out of sadness. I mean, I think a lot of people realized that he was bipolar and pretty often depressed, and I think he was trying to drown his sorrows by having that place and throwing constant parties there. And of course, you know, I've vlogged where he was killed before, but his father ended up killing him in the house that they were both living in at the time. Alright, now I need to head home because it looks like online that they are trying to deliver my new camera today. It's out for delivery, and I'm gonna get my oxygen sensor put on today. The Canine Glam Squad. Wasn't that pretty cool to see that building? Just to know that for 4 good years, Marvin Gaye's beautiful voice would have been soulfully echoing through those halls in there. Man. Is that James Brown's license plate? Get on up. Well, I came home to find a notice to let me know that they did try and deliver my camera. They needed a signature, which is funny because about 4 times last week I had packages show up that needed a signature, and I waited around, and then when they showed up they just knocked on my door and left at the door and didn't ask for a signature. So this time apparently they did actually need one. Well, we kind of lucked out. As I was leaving my neighborhood, I saw the mailman's truck over there, so I pulled over, asked him if he was my mailman. He said he was, and I got my package. And he actually admitted that the supervisors have told them that if they're really busy to just leave a notice and not even go to the door, so he wasn't even going to come to the door anyway. So now we're heading off to Kevin's house because I left my small camera over there the other day, and his mechanic is a block away from where he lives, so I'm just gonna have his mechanic put my car part on. Alright, well, they weren't that reasonable. They wanted $40, and when I looked online I can just buy the wrench and do it myself for like way less, so I'll just go buy the wrench tomorrow and I'll put it on myself. My new camera showed up, so the one that I'm using right now I will soon be parting with. Let's pull this guy out. Well, from now on, well, at least in the next 2 or 3 days I'll start using this guy. Always wanted one of these, so kind of excited to get one. Well, that's it. I know it's not all that exciting, but there's probably a few camera nerds out there that can feel my excitement. I got a new lens for it. It's an 18 to 135, so I will have to switch lenses less frequently. But this is just an overall better camera, and you'll probably see it right away. It does much better in the dark, it's better in the rain, just everything. It's just going to be much better. So since it's always, I'm always going to be filming with it, you won't get to see it after today. So there it is. That's my new rig. My new gun. Well, Lionhearts, that's it. If you're wondering why my hair looks like a total mess, it's because we are having one of the windiest nights I can ever remember in the entire time that I've lived in Los Angeles. When we left Kevin's house, it was blowing me across the sidewalk. It was blowing Jaw away. I had to pick him up and carry him, and then we came in, it was the same thing. It was blowing stuff out of the trees, so yeah, it's nutty. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I am going to get the car fixed tomorrow. I am positive. I actually watched a bunch of YouTube videos on how to do it to make sure I don't do it wrong and that I'm doing it right and everything, and yeah, you know, the funny thing about watching YouTube videos is you can see how easy things can be that they want to charge you like astronomical amounts of money for. So I think I should be able to, fingers crossed, I should be able to get this taken care of tomorrow. And all the codes that printed out, it seems like that's exactly what my grandpa said it was, is exactly what the people are saying on those videos. So I should be good. I want to thank Ruth King for becoming my newest Patreon. And thank you everyone for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a great night and goodbye.
All seem to come together. Happy now, thanks for the failure now.